remission at 1 year, based on areas visualized on colonoscopy, which may not represent the deeper bowel layer or entire GI tract. Individual results may vary. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in 4 directions. This is Robert Pilot of Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. I'm here to ask you for your support. Finding honest Native-centered news is not easy. But with your support, we're able to provide accurate information about Standing Rock, Line 3, treaty violations, and COVID-19 in our Native communities. Please visit Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon and donate if you can. That's Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon. Pinigigi, and thank you for your support.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Your heart beats for generations. Take care of it.
There's a lot that we can do to take care of ourselves. And so I think it's important to take the smaller steps and break it down into more manageable pieces, because the little steps leads to big changes.
Every beat of your heart tells a story of love, resilience, and hope. For Indigenous women, taking care of your heart means creating more moments with the ones you cherish. Let's protect that story. Learn more at hennepin.us/heart-beats.
Hello, everyone. I am Becky McNatt, along with Tara Martini, hosts of Feels Out Loud, brought to you by Becoming Together Therapy and Wellness. This Sunday, tune in as we process life transitions and how these influence our mental health.
If you have a question regarding adaptation to life changes, visit our website at becomingtogethermn.com and locate the Feels Out Loud page. We may just share your question on the show, so join us Sundays at 9 a.m. to live and share mental health together.
What does it mean to begin? Creation Story explores Native origin stories through powerful contemporary art, connecting past and present with every brushstroke in sculpture. Explore how identity, culture, and resilience are shaped through art. Creation Story, now at All My Relations Arts through July 26th. This exhibition invites you to the heart of the Ochate-Shikowin storytelling, where spiritual relatives guide the way. Open to all. Learn more at allmyrelationsarts.org. Experience the beginning. Experience Creation Story at All My Relations Arts in Minneapolis.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Showers and thunderstorms continue tonight with a low of 71. Then Thursday, partly sunny with a high of 84. For more than 40 years, the Great Wall Restaurant has been serving up Szechuan and Mandarin favorites. The Great Wall is located just north of 50th in France on the Minneapolis-Edina City line. Check them out at greatwallrestaurant.us.
Portions of Native Roots Radio may be pre-recorded.
Good day to be Indigenous. Get up, stand up.
They are going to become more brutal.
Because all the hippies were trying to be Indians anyway.
They're going to become more repressive because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings at Wounded Knee.
I am awake. Welcome to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Hade. A Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in 4 directions. You are listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot. Hey, we discuss local, national, Native news and events, and as you know, Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues. Hey, we are hitting off right off the top here with our friend Arvina Martin, CEO of Emerge Wisconsin. And Arvina, I like to get a little cultural here when we get going, and I understand we're sharing the same kind of heat and temperatures and rain. Welcome to Native Roots Radio. Oh,
Thanks for having me. I've been working on staying hydrated all day and in the air conditioning, because you step outside and it's just this massive, oppressive heat and humidity. And we had some crazy thunderstorms this morning too. So it's wild.
It is. And it's weird too, because I was walking Wanda, which I don't like to call her our dog, but she is our dog, Wanda. And she kind of wanted to come back, and she normally doesn't. And as soon as we came back, it started pouring. So she knew what was going on more than I did.
Yeah, she felt it in the air.
Definitely. Hey, we have like a Ho Chunk word of the day, and uh, Arvina, you may have one for us today.
I do. Inspired by the weather, I was thinking dakutch, which means hot. And
Yeah.
that's one of the few Ho Chunk words that I would hear when I was growing up. If we were in the kitchen and we were trying to grab something, no, dakutch. Oh, okay. Too
That's
hot.
a good one. That's a good one too. And I feel like the weather's really changed a lot over the last few years, and summertime really starts earlier now here in Minnesota and Wisconsin, and we don't have our 4 seasons like we used to when I was a kid. And it's interesting because all of a sudden it's summer. We don't have that beautiful spring that I always love.
I mean, I feel like we go from like the dreary winter where like all the snow is gray and muddy and gross, and you go through the melt stage and you get everything turns green, and then immediately, yeah, you're right, it turns into summer. I like having that time where, if you go for a walk every day, that there's something new blooming or blossoming every day, and it goes too quick now before it gets too hot.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I want to jump in right away too, and maybe a little later on talk some local politics. You're our eyes and ears of what's happening in Wisconsin, and a little nationally too, because there's some things that just came out. But I really want to start out tonight and talk about Emerge Wisconsin, and I'm on the website right now too, and we've talked about this before, that Emerge Wisconsin alums went big on election night a couple of years ago, and these exciting things that you do, I just really appreciate you coming on, and I know our relatives mentioned to me that it's great to have you on all over Wisconsin, and of course Minnesota here too with the AM 950, but we're on quite a few stations in Wisconsin too with our friends, and I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, I'm always happy to be here. It's a fun time on Native Roots Radio. Yeah.
So talk about a little bit about Emerge again, and
Yeah.
I'd really like to start out and talk about that, because in Wisconsin, not unlike Minnesota, but in Wisconsin, election season's every season.
Yeah. So Emerge Wisconsin is an organization that helps identify and recruit and train Democratic women and non-binary folks to run for elected office. And, we've had a very successful spring 2025, and we, had some bright spots in the fall 2024 election. Between those two elections, women that ran for elected office ran at the rate of 91, or won, I should say, at the rate of 91%. And so we are really proud of our alumna who put their names on the ballot and then put in the work to win a campaign, using the tools that we provide and provide access to. We teach people that want to run for office on how to run a successful campaign that is authentic to you. We're not looking to put candidates in some kind of perfect candidate cookie cutter mold kind of thing. We want folks to be able to apply the things that they learn in a way that reflects the authentic self, their authentic self. And we teach things about how to talk about yourself, how to talk about and give a stump speech, your elevator pitch. We also talk about things like how to pick or find your win number, how to make sure you're talking to enough voters on doors and the phones and at events in order to hit your vote your vote win total. We talk about things like putting together your campaign team. Again, things like messaging, and just basically all the tools that you will need to put together in order to run a successful campaign for office. And like I said, we're really proud of our alums, and we have alums that are looking to run in 2026, both spring and fall. So, keep your eyes open for Emerge Wisconsin names on your ballot. We are also looking forward to doing some trainings in conjunction and hosted by various subunits of the Democratic Party of Wisconsin. We'll be doing something with some of the caucuses, hopefully all of the caucuses, but also in the 3rd congressional district. We are going to be hosting and putting on a presentation called Step Forward. And this is really great. If you've ever thought about running for office, it'll be a 1-hour presentation, and we'll cover, the things that you have to think about before you run for office. We're going to talk about your why and how to articulate that and how to understand, what you are or why you're running for office. We talk about, what seat you can have the most impact in, and when and where, the timing and location of when you run. And then at the end, we'll talk about basically how you prepare yourself as a candidate, as a person, and prepare your network to run. So you leave with some tangible steps on what you need to do to get a candidacy off the ground. So stay tuned for those dates.
Hey, I would love it too if even if you don't guest host, which you have over in the past here on Native Roots Radio, I'd love it that one of your days that you're on, pick a day that you would take over the show and have one of your candidates on. That would be just so awesome. And really, that's what we're all about here, is passing on a good word. And the good word that Emerge is doing is just, it's just fabulous. And I feel blessed having you on and then talking about these real things and things that we can help people with and then we help these candidates. They're helping our people.
Yeah, I mean, I include in our training a Tribes 101 presentation so that everybody that goes through the Emerge Wisconsin program will then have an understanding of tribal sovereignty and the importance of working with tribal governments as peer institutions, not special interests, etc. So, we take it very seriously and want to make sure that our alums go out with knowledge of Indian country.
That's really cool. Hey, we're here with Arvina Martin and our weekly talk, and I just love it. And we're going to be right back with Arvina. This is Native Roots Radio.
What does it mean to begin? Creation Story explores Native origin stories through powerful contemporary art, connecting past and present with every brushstroke in sculpture. Explore how identity, culture, and resilience are shaped through art. Creation Story, now at All My Relations Arts through July 26th. This exhibition invites you to the heart of the Ochate Shikowin storytelling, where spiritual relatives guide the way. Open to all. Learn more at allmyrelationsarts.org. Experience the beginning. Experience Creation Story at All My Relations Arts in Minneapolis.
Your heart beats for generations.
Your heart is so many things. It beats all the time, and it works very hard to keep you moving through your day, keeping your thoughts clear. It's the most important organ in your body.
Every beat of your heart tells a story of love, resilience, and hope. Taking care of your heart means creating more moments with the ones you cherish. Learn more at hennepin.us/heart-beats. That's hennepin.us/heart-beats.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Four Sisters Farmers Market is more than a place to shop for delicious organic food. It's a celebration of Indigenous culture, food sovereignty, and community. Now in its 11th season, the market offers healthy, affordable, culturally appropriate local foods every Thursday from 11 to 3. Located on the American Indian Cultural Corridor off Franklin Avenue, Four Sisters Farmers Market is a project of NAGD. Every Thursday now through October, discover more about Four Sisters Farmers Market by visiting nagd.org.
Oh, this is Dallas Goldtooth, and you're listening to the Native Roots Radio. Hoka, hicha, wecha.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio Presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot. Hey, we're with our friend Arvina Martin of Emerge, Wisconsin, and just shooting the well, I can't say that word. We're just talking here. We're just talking here on AM 950 and across civic media. And I just love to hear about Emerge Wisconsin, because I always want, when we have guests on with things happening in the community, I always want a call to action. And I feel like Emerge Wisconsin is a call to action, and a very successful one. And so again, I really appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, and you know, I participated and graduated from the Emerge Wisconsin program in 2014, and you know, have always wanted to encourage more Native women and non-binary folks, our two-spirit siblings, to also consider sharing their experiences. You know, we have so many people that are so talented and have incredible experiences in life, and we need people with those experiences to help make policy at all levels. You know, it doesn't make sense to have only, you know, attorneys or accountants or anything like that serve in these elected roles. You know, we need people that have, maybe you've had trouble in school and went through that. Maybe you didn't graduate. That experience is so needed on places like school boards or other places where decisions on education are being made. You know, we discount a lot of our experiences and think that they're not the standard. Well, standard is just the regular, and I firmly believe that we need different backgrounds. We need people with different lived experiences, because that's the only way we cover our collective blind spots. And we need to be thinking especially about people who are having a rough time, whether it is, you know, unemployment, you know, the fact that we're going to be kicking so many people off Medicaid and SNAP benefits, you know, and is it really the best idea to have someone making rules about that hasn't ever experienced that kind of hardship and the realities of how someone, you know, is in that situation, how they're able to persevere and you know, continue on and be able to, you know, work themselves into a different situation. You know, that kind of experience is so invaluable when we are having these discussions on policy. And I really, you know, love that Emerge is able to meet so many of these people that become candidates and are able to give them tools that they don't, you know, even know that they need yet. Because, you know, we all think because we see commercials on TV that we understand how campaigns are run, but it's a very specific, you know, set of knowledge, and you know, you don't want to go into a test without being prepared. So you study. Like, this is the learning part that helps you prepare yourself for the realities of being a candidate, and for the realities of being an elected official.
You know, one of the things that I've been thinking about too is what happened in New York with the mayor. He went out and asked people. He was boots on the ground and knocked on doors and asked people for their top 4 concerns and ran on that. And that's kind of what you're saying too about people's experience.
Absolutely. I mean, we know that these things are going to happen. All of these cuts are going to happen. They're not going to happen until after the midterm elections. So the Republicans will then be able to blame it on Democrats if Democrats retake the House and or Senate. And it's I also firmly believe that we're going to start hearing from new voices of people who are being disenfranchised, or people that are experiencing or have experienced whenever in their past job insecurity or food insecurity, dealing with incarceration, or folks, relatives that are incarcerated, and those perspectives are so important, because that lived experience is like I said, invaluable. And we don't need to just have Nepo babies running things all over the place, because they have no idea what these struggles mean. And yeah, that's how we start making decisions that are going to be better for the most people, and not just for billionaires.
Yeah, right on. And I really love and agree, and I love talking about this, because that is to stay on top of what's happening. For one, like you said, that after the election, all these bills will start taking effect, and then and remind everybody out there too, because I really believe for the novice. I mean, I listen to a lot of radio, and I listen to or read a lot, but there's our community out there that is struggling at times, that needs 2 jobs, that have kids, they have a mortgage, they have full-time jobs, and, so I appreciate what you have to say, every week, and bringing this up.
I mean, I'm hoping that there are people out there who hear this, and especially for our Native family, I want folks to see themselves as people who can be change makers, and that can be, and what I do for my day job is help people become change makers by becoming policymakers. But there's lots of ways to do it, and I hope that some folks out there hear this message and think, that's something I could do. I could be on my city council. I could be on my county board or school board. Deciding to run for office is not just, I'm going to run for Congress.
Yeah.
And oftentimes local government, those changes that you can make there are going to be the ones that directly affect folks every day, whether it is a decision about school funding, whether it's decisions about what roads to improve, infrastructure concerns. Those are all really important, and you really have an opportunity to make a difference in people's lives.
Well, I like it here in Minnesota. Only it started with Susan Allen, who was state representative Native American roughly 10 years ago. And then we had up to 4 people, that including the lieutenant governor was a state representative prior to being lieutenant governor. So we had people that were educating other legislators on really what was going on. But if you don't have that, if you don't bring your experience, then again, what you just said, it they don't know, because of whatever reason they're not thinking about it, they weren't taught that, or they didn't go through it.
Yeah, and it's always going to be good. I mean, it's going to be good for tribes to have Native people in other units of government, from the local, state, and federal. I know that when I was on city council in Madison, people would kind of tag me on issues related to Native people, or to the Ho-Chunk Nation in particular, and I knew who to reach out to in a lot of these situations, and it became you have someone that understands how tribal governments work. I remember a debate where we were debating a upgrade to a particular interchange off of the interstate near Madison, where near where our casino is in Madison. And, people wanting to, didn't like what the proposal was and wanting to go back and start that process over. And, I had to be the one being like, this project goes through the U.S. and state Department of Transportations, the Federal Highway Administration, the city of Madison, the Ho-Chunk Nation, the county of Dane. That's a lot of groups that have to sign on to something, and it's absolutely not feasible. And I made the argument that it was absolutely an equity issue, that intersection off of the interstate that leads to our casino would be the number one, intersection traveled by Native people in the city of Madison, because we have so many Native people employed at the casino.
Well, also, if I remember correctly, in my 4 years, is that it was a safety issue too.
It was absolutely a safety issue. It was a dangerous crossing across a divided highway, and now there's a better interchange. It involves roundabouts and an exit onto a street named Mahinch Road, and I get a kick out of seeing that sign every day. Or every time I make that trip and see that you have to get off on Mahinch Road. Mahinch being the Ho-Chunk word for milkweed, and seeing that is, I think it's really cool, and it's so much safer. You are not, trying to beat traffic, and I feel much safer on that interchange than I did previously.
Wow, we got it in there. A second word of the day too. That's
yes.
Awesome. Hey, can you hold on for another part of this next segment, please? I wanted
Absolutely.
to talk a little bit nationally, if we can. Hey, we're here with Arvina Martin, CEO of Merge Wisconsin, and this is Native Roots Radio.
When was the last time you had your roof inspected for extreme weather and hail damage? This is Chad, owner of AM 950, to talk about the exterior construction company I trust, Snap Construction. If you've noticed new roofing projects in your neighborhood, your home was likely hit by hail last summer and experienced damage. Snap Construction is helping homeowners like you, and they're the roofing specialists I trust. They are the most well-reviewed contractor in the Twin Cities and have a ton of positive customer reviews from homeowners just like you. Even better, Snap Construction's installations are backed by a lifetime warranty, so you're dealing with a qualified roofing expert. You want to work with a company that will be here for a long time after the work is done. Snap Construction has handled thousands of claims and will help you through the process. Do yourself a favor and get a free roofing inspection so you have the facts and peace of mind you deserve. Call Snap Construction today at 612-333-SNAP. That's 612-333-SNAP. Or visit snapconstruction.com.
Overwhelmed trying to make sense of Medicare? As a licensed advisor, I can help you determine your healthcare needs and evaluate your options. I'm Harvey Pearl of Pearl & Company, and I want you to have the peace of mind knowing you have the best coverage available. You deserve an advocate you can trust and coverage you can rely on. And there's no fee, ever. Annual enrollment is October 15th through December 7th. Call me now at 651-303-8889 so we can strategize together.
Are your remote workers putting your company at risk? Not sure what steps to take to secure your data? Hi, Mark Sommerfeld from Rymark. The Rymark team is guiding our clients through these difficult times. In fact, demand has been so high, we created an easy-to-follow guide with the 5 steps to securely work from home. It's yours free. Download our 5 steps to securely work from home now at rymarkit.com or call 651-328-8900 for a no-cost how-to discussion.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces is having their annual sale. For the entire month of July, all of their indoor and outdoor fireplace products and accessories are at the lowest price of the year.
Did you know that now there's also a 30% federal tax credit when you install an efficient wood heating stove or fireplace? At Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces, we can explain and show you the many options. We have the Twin Cities' widest selection of wood-burning stoves and fireplaces.
I love my wood stove. We enjoy the sense of well-being we get by cutting and splitting wood to warm our home. Wood is our choice, but you may have other choices at Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces. Whether transforming an existing fireplace or adding something new, a clean-burning wood, gas, or electric fire can have you sitting pretty and cozy by the fire.
Visit Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces at Riverside and East Franklin Avenue in Minneapolis or at woodlandstoves.com. Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces, since 1977, out of the ordinary products and services to make fire work for you.
Turn to Auto Technical with your vehicle donation. We have families waiting for a car. You know, over 85% of unemployed are successful in finding and keeping a job if they have dependable transportation. A car plus a job equals a life changed. 612-919-5526. We have families waiting for a car. 919-5526 or autotech.org.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Showers and thunderstorms continue tonight with a low of 71, then Thursday partly sunny with a high of 84. For more than 40 years, the Great Wall Restaurant has been serving up Szechuan and Mandarin favorites. The Great Wall is located just north of 50th in France on the Minneapolis-Edina City line. Check them out at greatwallrestaurant.us.
You're listening to AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
Anine, I'm Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan, and you are listening to Native Roots Radio.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot. Hey, welcome back, everybody. We are here with Arvina Martin, CEO of Emerge Wisconsin, and we're going to have Bob Blake come on with SolarBear with the Solar News after an upcoming segment. I really, you know, for me, I just don't like to, I don't know, look at the daily news because it's so misdirecting. And, you know, we got Obama that, you know, had to even stoop down and make a comment about the insanity that Trump said about him. And there's just all this misdirection going on. And, you know, the MAGA people are totally freaked out about the Epstein files.
Well, I mean, not without cause. I mean, we should all be concerned about the Epstein files, and you know, we found out today, the Wall Street Journal reported that Trump was informed that his name is in the files by the Attorney General Pam Bondi in May. So he's and we don't, you know, being named in the files does not necessarily mean that something bad has happened, but there seems to be a lot of smoke, you know, coming out of this general area for there not to be a fire. You know, the Wall Street Journal's reporting last week about the birthday card, which was, I mean, Donald Trump is not a subtle man. And so his jokes about like, we're going to have more secrets or things like that. I mean, those again, seems to be more smoke that points to evidence that there is in fact a fire. And having Speaker Mike Johnson send Congress home,
yes,
without calling a vote on this, you know, Congress is going to be home for 2 months. And so, you know, this is an opportunity, people. If your congressperson is having any kind of event, whether it is a town hall, you know, a meet and greet, this is the time to talk to them. And especially if you have one of the Republican representatives in Congress, you know, ask them why they haven't been fighting for this. For this information to be, you know, released to the public. You know, Trump talking about Obama doing this and Hillary that, and you know, I want to force the Washington Commanders to change their name. Again, you know, this is the part of the presidency where he is starting to throw the spaghetti at the walls to see what sticks, and nothing is sticking.
Right.
So, you know, it's
Yeah.
it-
Don't
it's
don't don't forget Rosie O'Donnell. That was thrown
oh
in
yeah,
there.
Rosie O'Donnell, you know, taking away citizenship, it's saying that, I mean, and then you get into him talking about his uncle teaching Ted Kaczynski, but there's no way he could have known that, because, you know, his uncle died 10 years before, or 11 years before Kaczynski was ever identified as the Unabomber. You know, he's trying desperately to change the narrative that's happening, and it only makes people stick to it. And to have news outlets like the Wall Street Journal, which is not known to be a left-leaning publication, and is known for their solid reporting standards. You know, I've heard people talking about the fact that Trump is suing the Wall Street Journal, but, you know, they know, but publishing a story like this is going to, you know, bring out the litigiousness of Donald Trump. And so I'm sure they have all of their I's dotted and T's crossed.
Right.
And again, anything to talk about anything other than Epstein.
Well, and again, my rabbit hole is too, and again, please don't laugh at my comment here we're about to say, but you know, is that they want JD Vance to be president now. That's the way the Wall Street Journal is going, and they want him because Trump's losing his mind with his Alzheimer's and everything, and he can't be trusted, and they want JD Vance in there. So again, don't laugh at my conspiracy. I'll get my aluminum hat off real quick here, but who knows?
Yeah, well, and he's laying low. I'm sure that, you know, JD Vance's mouth is drooling at the prospect of, you know, usurping power or stepping in gracefully should something happen, God forbid. And I don't know how he could keep everybody in line, you know, the same way that Trump does. I don't think people are going to be, you know, scared. I don't think people are scared of JD Vance in the way that they're scared of Trump. Lots of us are scared about JD Vance for other reasons, mostly policy related. But you know, he doesn't have that same kind of, his ruthlessness is a lot different, and it doesn't, I can't think of the word I'm trying to think of.
He does have better eyeliner than Trump. I do admit that. And now that he has that beard, he does have a chin. So
oh dear, I didn't know he grew a beard.
Did I go there? Sorry. You got to keep me in line here and keep the show legit here. But yeah, so it's hard to go. We want to mention that, but it's always hard to go down these rabbit holes, especially. But you know, like you said earlier, everyone should be upset about Epstein. He was murdered. You know, all these cover-ups and all these things, and now you know Trump ran on, you know, that he was going to open up the files, and now you know the QAnon people are angry, and on and on and on. I'm glad that we talk about local politics because this is maddening.
Yeah, it really is, and it's hard to anticipate what will happen next because we have long crossed over into unprecedented territory. You know, I remember when Trump got into the primary for president, and I thought, oh, well, once they make him turn over his tax files, he'll drop out. That didn't happen. And all of these things that we thought were checks on him have not been so. And so it does make it more stressful to watch the news these days because you don't know what new fresh hell is going to happen every day, but you also don't know what the effects of that fresh hell will have on our future other than just the immediate, oh my God, this is awful.
Right.
You know, because we are so far out of anything we've ever experienced. It's wild, and speculation is so difficult, and even just speculating can stress somebody out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I again, and I say thank you AM 950 Civic Media for having our show on here and all the other affiliates, because the mainstream media normalizes, and I blame them a lot for what's going on here. It isn't that both sides do the same. It isn't that these things, and so I get really angry when I think about that we could have stopped this instead of giving free publicity the first time around, where he didn't have a election committee, he didn't have a bank account, and he just started blowing up because they gave him $1 billion of free advertising that first time around.
And also fed his ego and made it bigger than it was previously. I mean, he thinks he's a king, he thinks he's an emperor, he thinks he can take away people's citizenship willy-nilly. It's absolutely bonkers. And I know I feel like I say that every week, but it just,
No.
I mean, it takes a lot out of a person to be shocked all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Arvina, I want to ask you a question and change subjects right now
Sure.
too. And I do that a lot during the show, and especially when there's a call to action. And I don't know if I've done it with you, but you're always in the trenches. What do you do for yourself to keep your sanity, to keep your spirit whole? What do you do?
I have been, actually having some problems with that because a lot of the things that I would normally do aren't bringing the same kind of relief. So these days, every night before I go to bed, I watch a little Bob's Burgers and then watch the Golden Girls and try to get my brain to be thinking about something a little more innocuous. And, I know how every episode of the Golden Girls turns out, so I'm not going to be surprised. And there's not going to be any jump scares or anything. So I like to do that to help kind of make my brain wind down. I've been things that I do a lot, skating, working out, getting the blood moving. I recently started doing contrast therapy, which involves me sitting in an infrared sauna for about 15 minutes and then jumping in a cold plunge pool for about 5.
Wow.
It's supposed to help your parasympathetic nervous system, which helps you calm down. It's supposed to, their research is showing that it helps with blood pressure and heart rate, in addition to the anti-inflammatory effects that it has, like on muscles and joints and everything. So I'm trying to do that now. When the weather is nice, going to the pool to swim for a bit is nice. So try to get myself either flexing my actual muscles somehow and moving my body, or like flexing creativity muscles. Those are the two like largest buckets in which I use to divide up my happy making time.
That's awesome. Wendy and I have been watching from the beginning, and I didn't realize they were on 12 seasons. We had never watched before, was The Big Bang Theory.
Oh,
and
yeah.
That show cracks me up for daily or every 20 minutes. So it's cool. It's because there's no commercials. It's a 20-minute block, and we go, oh, let's watch another one.
Yeah.
And so we do an hour of that and try to just keep our minds out of things. And, but then we kind of realized too that, the show started in 2006 and, it wasn't 100% politically correct with some of their humor back then.
I find that too. Not so much with the Golden Girls, surprisingly. That has held up very well. But considering I believe it launched in like 1986. But, I definitely see shows that I watched maybe 20 years ago and think, oh my God.
Yeah,
That's not okay.
exactly. Hey, Arvina, thank you so much for stopping in and talking to us and the listeners. Really, it rejuvenates me. We got Bob Lake coming up next. And Arvina, we got like 10 seconds. Can you give your website out one more time?
wi.emergeamerica.org. And if you can donate, help support us do the work that we do.
Right on. Hey, thanks, Arvina. We'll see you next week. Hey, up next, Bob Blake from Red Lake. Hey, this is Native Roots Radio.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Your heart beats for generations. Take care of it.
There's a lot that we can do to take care of ourselves. And so I think it's important to take the smaller steps and break it down into more manageable pieces, because the little steps leads to big changes.
Every beat of your heart tells a story of love, resilience, and hope. For Indigenous women, taking care of your heart means creating more moments with the ones you cherish. Let's protect that story. Learn more at hennepin.us/heart-beats.
Tune in this Saturday morning right here on AM 950 for the Gardening with Joy and Holly radio show from 7 to 8 a.m. We'll be discussing how you can use food scraps in the garden and in the kitchen. Also, seed saving for this fall. Our guest is edible landscape expert Michael Judd will be with us and will answer your garden questions. That's all this Saturday morning from 7 to 8 a.m. right here on AM 950. Tell a friend and let's grow together.
Four Sisters Farmers Market is more than a place to shop for delicious organic food. It's a celebration of Indigenous culture, food sovereignty, and community. Now in its 11th season, the market offers healthy, affordable, culturally appropriate local foods every Thursday from 11 to 3. Located on the American Indian Cultural Corridor off Franklin Avenue, Four Sisters Farmers Market is a project of NAGD. Every Thursday now through October, discover more about Four Sisters Farmers Market by visiting nagd.org. Welcome back to Native Roots Radio Presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot. Hey, welcome back, everyone. Hey, we are here with Bob Blake from Red Lake. I always have to say that one time a show, and he's SolarBear with the Solar News. Great to see you, Bob. Thanks so much for coming on.
Hey, Robert. Great to be on. Lots of things happening around renewable energy across the country. Of course, this administration is attacking the renewable energy industry and all things, solar, wind, renewable energy. So whatever the fossil fuel industry says to him and this administration to cut, that's what they're doing. The grain belt transmission line. Now, what's really important about this, Robert, is the grain belt transmission line is a transmission line that was going to be taking both, solar and renewable energy out to the East Coast, right? Cheap energy, Robert, cheap energy. And everyone, I just want to let you all know too, the country of Spain, entire country just went like the entire last month on renewable energy. The entire country. So we have countries now that are literally like supplying energy on renewables. And remember, y'all, the more that we can do this around the world, the more that we could do this right here at home, just means that, that's less greenhouse gases that are being emitted into the atmosphere, which is the, cause behind climate change and why you're seeing all these horrible floods, all these heat waves, and all these things that are happening. So anyways, this transmission line, Robert, is really, really important because it took about a decade to plan. These things aren't easy to do. Okay. And this transmission line went to the government, right, and got loans to do this. And it literally is not happening now. They canceled the loans, Robert.
Jeez.
And yeah, and this is, this was agreed upon, this was, going to happen, and now the government is trying to pull out of the deal. Now, Robert, I don't know if the government's going to succeed or not, because contracts have been signed, things have been placed. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that are happening, but this just is another really good example of this administration doing anything and everything to trip up, to slow up the progress of this country moving forward.
Yeah, and you talk about all the time that the whole world is going, renewable because they see what's happening. It's smart. And then we're reversing it because of the billionaires out there that Trump wants to drill baby, and bring back coal, things that we know were bad in the 60s and 70s. He wants to bring back.
Well, here's another terrible story. The EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, is rolling back their papers and their research, and saying essentially that climate change isn't real, that this isn't happening, and they're rolling back their protections across the country. And what's crazy about this is that we all know, Robert, of interesting. There was one person who made an interesting comment, and I believe it's a congressperson, but she said that she lived in the city of Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. So she remembers the orange mornings from the pollution from the steel plant. She remembers the water having tons of like pollutants in it because they were just dumping their waste into the river. She says she remembers seeing fish just floating in the river because it was too toxic for them to even live. And so, it's stuff like that. Now the Environmental Protection Agency is pulling back on all this stuff, and it's just a tragedy. It's just horrible.
Yeah, it is. It is. We should swing into some good news here. I see that things are happening up in Red Lake with your charging systems and your cars. I saw that you had posted that a couple days ago.
Yeah. So we are still moving forward and getting charging stations into communities, billing out Electric Nation, and yeah, Robert, it puts a smile on my face because this van we got for the Red Lake Nation Youth Shelter is a Volkswagen Buzz van, and yeah, I want to say I think we paid like $96,000 or something for it, right? It was just really expensive.
Wow.
But here's the thing, Robert. This van is got like all-wheel drive. It's got like it's all electric. It's got like the heated battery system or something. So like if it's 20 below or something, it's still gonna move, wherever. It's gonna be like a regular car and everything. Well, anyways, we've got this, and it's tricked out. I mean, it's got every imaginable in there for the kids.
Got some white wall.
Yeah, yeah. And Robert, what's really funny about this is, the people up are some of the Red Lakers are calling it the Scooby-Doo mystery machine. and so yeah. But I really love the way this van looks, and I'm really excited that it's going to be serving this wonderful program that serves the community. And then we've got a F1 Ford Lightning going out to 8th Fire Solar at the White Earth Nation.
Cool.
And they do a wonderful job over there in the communities, fighting energy poverty, putting up solar panel walls, heating systems, solar thermal wall systems. And so, that's another way that I think that we can fight energy poverty too. But long story short, both these programs are going to be serving the communities better with these two vehicles. And so we're really happy that we're able to do this for them.
Well, hey, congratulations. That's I know you've been working on that for a while, and it's great to see your dream and the other nation's dreams come to fruition.
Yeah, no, absolutely, Robert. It's really great seeing all this happen. And we've got a couple more. We've got a couple box trucks coming out, and then we're putting up more charging stations across North Dakota, South Dakota, into Wisconsin and Michigan. And we're really excited to site these things and then hopefully get some vehicles into these other communities that we're working through. But we have to start somewhere, and we're just and getting it going as we're moving forward. So yeah, really happy about that. We've got solar projects coming up. We'll be putting solar on 75 homes. We've got the Shakopee project that will be starting, everyone. We've got the Shakopee project will be starting here next month. SolarBear will be doing the project out in Shakopee.
Nice.
And we've got another solar project that we'll be building at a museum. And Robert, I got to tell you, I'm very picky about the solar projects I do. And when I went in to meet this board of directors and I walked in the door and I saw all these kids holding hands and they were looking up at the art, I knew right then and there. The executive director came up to me and they were like, Bob, I really hope you do this project. And I shook his hand. And I said, we're going to do it. So we start that next month too also. So really excited. We've got some good solar projects happening for SolarBear across the state of Minnesota and Wisconsin, and lots of good stuff happening. So, but yeah, a lot, but just everyone keep on following the news around the renewable energy. I think it's still happening. You know, a lot of good things are still happening. It's not all bad. But Robert, that's the SolarBear with the solar news.
Appreciate you as always, brother. Love you, and thanks for coming on and giving the SolarBear with the solar news. It really, really makes my week. Robert, congratulations on all your work and the great work that you've been doing for a long time. Hey, if you're listening to the show, you're part of the resistance. From Chief Plenty Coops, the ground on which we stand on is sacred ground. It's the blood of our ancestors. We need to resist, divest, join a group, run for office. See you tomorrow.
Your heart beats for generations.
Your heart is